You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast, and this is show number 307 for Sunday, the 29th of March, 2020.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls, and I wish upon a star that I could be with them in person to talk these things through, but I'm not, so I can't. So I've just got to shut up and do the best I can. And that's to talk via Skype to the wonderful and lovely, gorgeous, dynamic duo from Diz Down Under, Kat and Lewis. Hello, lovelies.
Hey, Michelle. How you going?
G'day, Michelle.
Good day. I'm doing really well, lovely. So how's things going with you guys at the moment?
Pretty good. I guess, like everyone, we've got a few changes in our lives, thanks to this wonderful event that's taking part in the world. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, pretty good. Getting through a lot of Netflix.
I think I need to put a post together for top Disney Plus recommendations and top Netflix recommendations because I'm going to be sofa surfing for quite a while.
Yeah. I think maybe we need that. We could put that up on the podcast family group, couldn't we?
Absolutely. Although last night I did binge watch 7 episodes of The Unabomber. Oh my word, it's addictive. It's got such an amazing cast. It's got Chris Hoff, FBI man. It's got Mark Hamblin, I believe he's called, FBI man extraordinaire, trying to track down the Unabomber and the case that followed, and it's a bit of a dramatisation. I was hooked.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
I love things like that, how they catch a killer, but I don't want it to be gory and sensationalist. This actually delved deeper into the Unabomber's psyche and the FBI, how they were adamant it was one type of person that did it. And then they brought on this other guy and he looked at it completely different with regards to linguistics. And even though I knew about the case, I didn't know about the case. Top viewing.
I suppose enough time's passed as well that people have probably been able to release some facts about it that weren't previously publicly available, maybe.
And I think we should have renamed the show Tangent City because already we've gone off on a tangent.
I blame Lewis. He's usually to blame.
I didn't do anything. I was sitting here.
Yeah, no, you were here.
Guilty by association. Well, let's just quickly rip the Band-Aid off and have 1 minute and no more than 1 minute. Guys, your transatlantic, what's happened?
Nothing yet. It's still scheduled to go. I think reality is that it probably won't. Mm-hmm. But at this stage, just fingers crossed that everything just quietens down in the next couple of weeks and we still chuff off and do our transatlantic because we want to come and see you.
Yeah, that would be lovely if everything just it wasn't as bad as we thought. Everyone's better and let's get back to normal. Yay! But yeah, we'll see. Probably not.
Yeah, watch this space. How about you with your cruise?
Well, on the cruise, I got an email yesterday from Disney saying they've extended the payment in full date another month, which gives me till the middle of April. And they're doing this on all sailings dated between June and the end of August. And it says that they're just reviewing it and evaluating options for sailings beyond the 12th of April. And they're going to look at any changes to any itineraries at that time. Once a decision is made, we will reach out to guests booked on these stages. In a month's time, a lot can happen. I intend to pay my balance unless Disney tell me otherwise. And if I get the money back or if I have to reschedule, I'll reschedule for next year.
Just do same cruise next year.
Yeah. The only worry is I've got a lot of airline times because I've got an internal UK flight. A flight from the UK to the US, then the US up to Vancouver, and then all in the reverse order. That came to about $3,000, $4,000 roughly off the top of my head. That's a lot of change to lose. So I'm hoping that will all get cancelled and repaid because I paid for it via a credit card as well.
Or even if you get credit that you can use for a reasonable amount of time, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, you do like to fly, Michelle.
Well, yeah. So I'm kind of thinking May possibly getting over to Disneyland Paris won't happen. I'm thinking Anthony coming over in July. Possibly. Might happen. It's a long time to July. And I'm praying that August does happen. But at the end of the day, if it needs to be cancelled, yes, I'll be upset. But at the end of the day, it's a small sacrifice to pay if I've got to self-isolate a bit longer.
That's true. That's true. And if it, saves a few lives here and there, then I think it's worth it.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, it just means I'm more determined to book a flight to go to Australia to visit your beautiful country and hang with you for a little while.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be weird not going to a Disney park, though.
I know, right? Maybe we could call it halfway and meet in Hong Kong.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Oh, now you're tempting me, because China is actually starting to recover a bit, so it could be more realistic. We get to China before we get to the United States.
True, very true.
Well, we will obviously be talking a bit more about this on our Facebook pages. We're trying to keep the podcast upbeat and being a bit of escapism. So we thought today, between the three of us, we could talk about our favourite things. And I just feel a little bit like good old Mary Poppins there. Is it Mary Poppins? No, it's not Mary Poppins.
Because we like what. It's
Raindrops on roses and
Whiskers on Kittens. That's what I remember. Yes, Whiskers on Kittens. That's one of my favourite things.
Whiskers on Kittens.
Yeah,
really?
like my kitten.
I like Whiskers on dogs because you can harass them a little bit more and they don't really swipe at you. They just kind of look at you like, "Oh, you're really doing that?"
And if you've got two cats that fight, they pull each other's whiskers out anyway.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
And again, Lewis has sent us down a tangent.
We need a tangent bell to ring to get him off the tangent. Back on track.
Brown paper packages tied up with string. Different
He's doing
times.
it again. He's doing it again. Okay,
Yeah.
So which is your favourite Disney cat then, while we're off on this tangent?
Ooh, favourite Disney cat.
Favorite Disney cat. It's the one we met when we were at is it Tangaroa Terrace? Is that the place where the Trader Sam's is? There was the restaurant.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes,
So-
over at in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Right.
So we were there, and Susan Kelly was there as well at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And we were having a bit of dinner, and then this cat came up, and I think it was a fluffy black cat, and it was very friendly. So that's my favorite Disney cat.
Oh, one of the cats of Disneyland rather than a character. A real cat. A proper cat.
None of that mucking around. I always I can't remember their names, but I always like the Siamese cats from Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, we are Siamese, if you please.
Just for that song.
That's a great song. I'm going to
yeah.
go with Cheshire Cat
Oh, good one.
because he's fun to meet, and he also has a food item named after him in Walt Disney World, and that's pretty tasty too.
Whereabouts have you met the Cheshire Cat?
Disneyland Paris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I heard some random story about this really rich prince who loves Disney so much, so he had the rights for Disney to bring about Cheshire Cat as a character to meet in the parks because he wanted to meet them first. And I don't know if it's true or not. And then it was exclusive to Paris for so long, and now I believe Cheshire Cat can meet anywhere. But yeah.
Wasn't he a major shareholder? I think that was the thing. A major shareholder, and then he'd put on these private parties, and then he'd say, "I want these characters." See, that's a thing with some of these Middle Eastern princes. They kind of have demands, and they don't not necessarily. Some of them aren't always achievable because the WWE puts on shows in the Middle East, and the prince there, he made demands on the wrestlers that he wanted to bring over to his shows, and about half of them were dead. So they didn't really put a lot of didn't put a lot of thought into that. So at least with the characters, they don't time out like humans do.
True. Okay, let's get back on track. We're going to talk about our favourite threes in 3 theme parks, and we're going to go with Disneyland Paris, Walt Disney World, Disneyland in California. But let's see how we go. Let's start with the park that for some is a bit like Marmite, let's start with Disneyland Paris. Oh, is that Vegemite for you guys?
Oh, they're two very different things. Apples and oranges, the old Marmite and Vegemite.
Why is Disneyland Paris like Vegemite or Marmite? It's a wonderful park. It's lovely. So the prettiest park in the world, in the world of Disney parks.
You've hit the nail on the head. It is. But for some people, and I will put my hands up to this feeling this way before I actually went, I just got the idea that it wasn't as amazing as it was until I actually went. Like, you know that I'm dragging Tom kicking and screaming to go hopefully in May because he's heard things about it and he doesn't want to go there. He's preconceived an image of Disneyland Paris. So to him, it's Marmite and he's not even looking forward to going. Some people do have this image because they've heard things about the smoking. They've heard things about the different attitudes to queuing and the food and things like that. Hence, Marmite.
Well, yeah, I can see why people might have that, but I think that Hong Kong Disney can be a little bit like that. But let's get down to our favourites, shall we?
Yeah, don't dwell on the negatives.
Yeah, let's think about the thing that us Disney fans are brought together by the most, and that is food.
No. What?
I know. And I must admit, I do struggle a little bit with the food at Disneyland Paris, particularly the snacks. I don't think they've got their snack game right, but they do have some pretty amazing restaurants, and I know we were considering one. Maybe you'd like to talk a bit about that?
Definitely. Bistro Chez Remy, like that is just such a great little restaurant. I personally was raised eating ratatouille, but my parents' version of ratatouille was this sloppy mess that I wouldn't recommend anyone. Sorry, Mum and Dad, if you're listening. But the ratatouille was just off the charts. It was delicious. It was just, I've never had anything like that. You witnessed me eating vegetables live in the flesh.
Yeah, no, it was really good, and the way that they've got like a scale of the different kind of steaks you can get, the different kind of ratatouille that you get with those steaks. But I think it comes down to the theming in the place, like the fact that the server explains to you that you're going to get shrunk down to the size of a rat, and the tiles from where you are like changed to when you go into the rat world, and the tiles become much bigger because obviously you're rat size, and the seating is all made up of found objects and stuff like that. It's just
the corks, yeah,
just absolutely amazing theming in that area.
The theming, you can't, you go on the attraction and then there's this glass wall where you can peer into the restaurant and you're just there with your mouth open because it is amazing. And then to actually go through and experience it, it's like, please make me sit on an upside down champagne cork. Please let me sit in this area, because certain bits are so intensely themed and other bits not as much, but the environment is just wow.
I've always wanted to sit near the dishes that are all in the racks, and we never end up
in the booth thing.
Yeah, because that looks kind of cool.
I think you need to be in a group of 4, so that's why we were talking about a must-do for us was to go and visit this place.
Yeah. But, it's just like one of those things that we walked out of there. It was actually quite a good meal. We enjoyed the food as well, and just everything put together. Do you try and go on the attraction before you go in for your ADR?
Absolutely, because you get into the world and into the spirit, and it's just so perfect.
Love it.
I don't think we did that because we went on to Crusher's Coaster first and beeline straight from there to the restaurant. So we didn't go on to Remy until afterwards.
I thought we'd been to Remy twice.
No. Remy the restaurant. No, Remy once.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it wasn't there the first time we went to Disneyland Paris.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably best doing Crusher's Coaster before rather than after.
Definitely. Nobody needs to see steak afterwards.
Pretty sure we went on Ratatouille after we did the restaurant though, so
you can go with that.
Yeah. Price point, when you're looking at about €18 for a table for a counter service meal, to pay $32.99 for a starter and a main, I don't think it's too ridiculous. Okay, the most expensive menu goes up to $61.99 because in Paris they're very focused about their set menu options. This is a set menu place. You can't just go and have a main course. You've got to have either the Remy menu, the Emile or Linguini or Gusto menu. And you can add in a wine pairing with that as well for the total French experience. But the food offered, in my opinion, is simply done with a French twist and delicious.
Yep, can't argue with that.
No, it's very, very nice. It's I can't wait to get back there.
And the thing that I noticed when I was perusing the menus, when it first opened, it was steak. Well, they now seem to have a steak, a fish, or a vegetarian option. And they've also added in a dish of the day as well. So even on the Remy menu, there are 4 different options.
That's pretty good.
So I think it's getting more inclusive for people who do have these, because I know Disneyland Paris has been slated a little bit for its inclusion. But it's brilliant. Kids menu, $18.99, and that's a starter, a main, and a dessert with a drink, and I don't think you can go wrong.
No, really. Like, it's less than 20 euros. So, I mean, what can you do with that? I mean, because they've got some good options. Well, they did the time that we went there.
Yeah. And for me, my favourite memory of eating here was with Mark Peter and his son Gage. We'd just tucked into our steak and the fire alarm went off and we didn't have to pay for the meal.
Bonus. I hope you'd eaten most of it.
Well, I was debating whether I should have taken a bit out of the steak in a napkin, and kicking myself to this day that I didn't do that, because we'd all had just the salmon starter, because we'd all gone for the most expensive menu.
I would have just stabbed the steak with a fork and gone out with a steaksicle. So then, you just go,
so
just
uncouth.
Walking out, just like having a bit of a munch on your steak there, and then somebody from Disney sees it and goes, "That's an awesome idea!" And then you see like snack stand opening up with steak on a fork or fork steak, and it'll be fantastic.
And you know what they could do? They could get a cheese soup made with brie, like they do in Canada.
That would be amazing.
Okay, well, we spent 20 minutes talking about one of the attractions. Is there somewhere else that you guys like to eat at Disneyland Paris?
Hands down, Waltz. We had such a lovely meal up there. I think it was our lunch before we were going to be catching the train and leaving Paris.
No, that was the first day of the year 2015, I think, if I remember rightly. I remember.
I'm sure that we were leaving that day.
No, I can guarantee you it was the first day of the new year.
How many days did we have in the new year?
We got there, I think it was the day before. I think it was the 2nd of January we left.
Well, that's ruined everything for me. But we did have a fabulous meal, and it was, a little bit fine dining, but without being over the top.
And the interior is amazing.
Oh, isn't it just? And like we were sat right near a window so we could look down Main Street, and happy times, fun times.
There was Snope. We could see Snope falling. It was fantastic.
I've been there, I think, twice. I think it's twice. And the thing that I like about the menu here is that they have an a la carte menu as well as the set menu. So, if you just want to have a main meal and a dessert, or if you just want a main meal or you just want a dessert, it's really, really good. They have some amazing starters. Oh, my word. One of the salads that I had this amazing Waldorf salad and blue cheese and meat. Oh, my word. Oh, and it's got walnuts and peanuts and apples, and it was huge.
What was it? We had beef. Was it carpaccio, where it's like really finely sliced? And it was just delicious. Did it have fried capers, or am I thinking of somewhere else's carpaccio?
Might have done. But,
I think parmesan wafer as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we had this like herb encrusted lamb for mains. I think we both ended up having that.
I'm not sure now. I'm not guessing anymore.
Admittedly, this place is expensive.
Oh, yeah. Was not cheap at all.
But mind you, it was a lot cheaper than the dinners the night before, because the night before was New Year's Eve, and any restaurant you were going to eat in Disneyland there, the prices were like 2 to 3 times what they normally were. So we were just like, nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to go to the bar at Hotel New York. We're going to have a croque madame, and we'll save our money for the next day. Thank you very much.
Good plan. I know that this place you can pay €40 for a chili.
What? Really?
I think that must be the most expensive chili on Disney property. Walt's chili con carne with sour cream and coriander, $39.99 in euros.
Is it magical sour cream?
It must be.
Wow.
Very, very expensive, but it's amazing. And I must just say, I had a trio of seasonal sorbets from here when I ate, and it was the most magical raspberry and mango sorbet I've ever had in my life. It was just like eating that fruit. It was just delicious.
Was it done like a swirl, or was it just like the one colour? Because I could imagine this beautiful blush sunset colour.
Well, they'd made a basket out of sugar, you know, when they melt down sugar and add that food colouring into it. So the basket was actually edible. And they put in 3 scoops, so you could have a little bit of the crunchy sugar work with the sorbet, and it was just divine.
Crazy.
I don't know whether it was just for show, and you shouldn't have eaten it, but I paid for it, so I was going to eat it.
Why not? I mean, if it's edible.
Yeah. And this place is one of the few places where you can go and have a gourmet vegan meal as well, which really, really impressed me.
Okay. So, like, you could, they had vegan entree, main, and dessert.
Yeah. Okay, there's only, one choice for each, but I think the starter was a tofu. Then there was a rice, peas, morel, soya bean main, and then a sponge cake with rum.
Not bad at all.
You know, admittedly, it was quite pricey to have the 3, but if you were a vegan and you wanted to eat and the rest of your party were not vegan, it's a place that you could go to, and we just need it to open up and not become Club 33.
Yep, fingers crossed.
Anything else you want to mention about Waltz?
No, I just think, was it a late lunch that we had? It felt like we almost had the place to ourselves.
Yeah, it was like, like about 1 o'clock or something like that. But yeah, it was just really nice. And I don't think they actually have a lot of people go up in there. So it was just really quiet and nice. And yeah, I think one of the best meals I've ever had on Disney property, actually.
Yeah, one of.
Where else would you like to eat at Disneyland Paris to get your 3?
I'm hanging out, and if the one good thing that might come out of this particular jaunt might being delayed, is that we might actually be able to go and experience some of what?
What? No, you go ahead. You say what you're going to say. I don't know where you're going.
You just smirked at me. I was doing the whole maybe if it gets delayed by a year, that we can go there, then we can go and experience some of the Marvel's Hotel New York.
Yes, yeah. I thought that's where you were going.
I hope they serve shawarma.
Yeah,
that's all I'm hoping.
Apparently, they're going to be serving shawarma at the Avengers Academy at Disneyland. So
nice.
So yeah, they maybe have shawarma there.
Nice.
That sounds good to me. Fingers crossed it gets to open up real soon. I'm going to go for a counter surface.
Oh, what's that?
And it's a very traditional British thing of fish and chips.
No way. In Paris, how you get some good fish and chips in Paris?
Well, I didn't say they were good fish and chips, but I just said they were fish and chips. But for me, Toad Hall is brilliant because there's something that you can have on that menu and it'll pretty much suit everyone. Do the 3 fixed menus, a fish and chips, a beef pastry open pie thing, or they do a chicken and bacon sandwich. And you can't go far wrong with chicken and bacon sandwich, in my opinion.
No, not at all.
But when you go and look at the a la carte menu, you can get a portion of fries. And these are steak fries, really big, thick chips.
Oh, yum.
And that, if it's a bit cold, which it can be at Paris, €3.59 is brilliant. And you can get a side portion of a chicken salad to go with it, or you can just get a separate fish. You just can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bargain.
Yeah, I like a bit of a bargain. And I don't always like getting a meal that comes with a yoghurt or an ice cream because obviously I don't always want a dessert.
Well, no, and that's the thing that we find when we travel. We either want on-train main or main and dessert. So that's a great little option.
Yeah, so that's my pick. And admittedly, it's not as good as the fish and chips back home, but I do think it's a place that does what it says on the tin. Hot, warm, yummy food.
I don't think Toad Hall's ever been open when we've been there. I think it's always been shut.
Yeah.
Well, that's hitting the nail on the head there. Disneyland Paris do have quite a few really nice eateries, but whether they're going to be open or not is the problem.
Yeah. And we've been there in sort of like high seasons as well, because we've been there New Year's and we've been there, what it would have been around your birthday, was it?
No, I think it was like later in the year, like
August.
Yeah.
Okay. August, April. They both start with an A.
Let's move on to the attractions. Any particular ones that aren't a trip to Paris without riding this attraction, or any special memories attached to an attraction?
Hands down for me, Space Mountain, because Lewis tricked me into going onto it, and it was pretty much the catalyst for me actually going, okay, I think I might survive if I go on some of these scarier rides.
And it is a unique attraction.
Definitely. So I was really stoked that I did try it out, although it did make it really, really scary when there was no over-the-shoulder harnesses when we finally got to the American parks and went to jump on their version of Space Mountain. I was just like, oh my God, we're all going to die.
But they're competing against the really full-on theme parks of Europe, which do have some really, really scary attractions. So Disney did need to have some attractions in their park that were a little bit more thrilling than you find in the American parks.
Yeah. So it makes sense that they did it, but it's amazing that they managed to do something in the same shape venue as some of those, what do we call it? Like a wild mouse ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just such a different attraction, and it's so good. So yeah, fond memories of that, because it was Lewis finally giving me the kick up the butt to go and try out something a bit scary and learn that I could survive.
What about you, Lewis?
Well, I think Big Thunder Mountain is one of my favorite rides at Disneyland Paris, and it's my favorite Big Thunder Mountain in the whole world. I just think it's got such unique elements that you're starting off on one side, and then you go underneath the water and you go onto the island, and then the whole ride's on the island. It's just a really great ride, some great views, and yeah, it's just absolutely sensational version of the Big Thunder Mountain ride.
Completely agree. It's the fastest, it's the most thrilling, and it's the one to me that makes the most sense, because you are actually on that island.
Exactly, yeah, and you're getting onto the island and getting off the island. It's all part of the experience, and it's just fantastic.
And you can get some amazing views of Big Thunder Mountain from around that area of the park as well.
Or you could get on the boat and do the trip around the mountain.
Yeah, true. Love it. I think I'm going to weigh in with, I'm sure everyone's now screaming, saying, this is Michelle's, because she never stops talking about it, Crush's Coaster.
Nice.
Purely because I've never been on an attraction like it. It's unique, in my opinion. Yes, we do have something that's fairly similar in Animal Kingdom with that silly primeval world thing. That is a rotating thing, but this is in the dark, and it's so well themed to the film as well that I just love it. It's one of my favourite films as well, and having that spin element, and if you get loaded with the right sized people, you can get some really pretty good spinning going.
Nice. Yeah, it's good fun. And it's like one of those things that's thrilling, but it's not too over the top scary.
I don't think there's been a time I've been on it and I've not just laughed. And it's just that I love about it.
And the only downside with it is just the wait and the no fast pass. It's like, oh.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people haven't had an opportunity to ride it if they only go for a couple of days. It's, can I invest that 2 hours of my life to go on it? And Michelle says, yes, you should.
Well, if you're staying on property, it's one of the it's the rope drop thing to do. You go there, you rope drop that, you grab a fast pass Ratatouille. So that way you're sorted for the two big rides there.
Yeah, or you do the alternate. If the studios is shutting, say, at 6 o'clock, you rock up at 5:45. Go do the attraction in Disney's time rather than your time, and then hobble over to Disneyland and then go and watch the fireworks. Perfect way to end the evening.
Clever.
Not just a pretty face. Have you guys actually managed to ride the railroad yet at Paris?
No.
No, so we didn't start riding the railroad until, let me think, Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't our first trip to Hong Kong either. It was like...
Still haven't ridden Paris. Still haven't ridden Walt Disney World. So Magic Kingdoms. So we've done Tokyo's and we've done Disneyland's. But yeah, we're a few short.
Paris's cars are so cute. So it's a lovely railroad, and let's hope we get to ride that together real soon, because I do enjoy it.
Nice. Sounds good.
What about experiences in Paris? Is there a show, a parade, or just something that brings back a warm, fuzzy feeling for you guys?
I think just walking down Main Street and just seeing the park, especially that second time where we were there and it was New Year's and it was really, really cold. There's something about it. It's got a real beauty to it.
And as I said, on that New Year's Day when everything was just frozen, and that was the same day we met the princesses from Frozen as well. It was just amazing, like just seeing this like ice over everything. Even the bins were pretty. It was amazing.
Oh, how beautiful! I don't know. I think a memory for me will be going with Jane, and we had such a wonderful time. The weather was amazing. And we went and had a little waddle around the maze and got lost and couldn't find a way out.
Nice.
So that was such an amazing trip. We had such good fun trying to find food at Paris that either of us would eat, because we were quite strict keto at the time. So we basically lived on chicken salad for the entire 4 days we were there. And I think the people over at Earl of Sandwich must have thought of us a little bit weird when we'd go up and say, yeah, can I have the chicken salad, please? But no salad. I just want the chicken and the cheese, please. And they'd look at me weird, but then they'd give me this big, massive tub of just chicken and cheese. It was so fun.
Bless. That's good of them.
Yeah, and I love Earl of Sandwich. But yeah, I think that trip for me, though, I've been very fortunate to have gone with other people. I've been with Caroline Gray for a trip and stayed at the Sequoia Lodge, and that beautiful, sitting and having a cocktail with her one evening in the bar. And then I've been with my friend Emily Rawlins, and that was my first trip, and it was nice to have somebody with me who was a bit savvy. And I've been with Mark Peter and Tara Peter a few times. So many fond memories of going with other people.
That's good. I'm glad that you got on board with the whole Disneyland Paris thing. It's very cool.
Yeah. And no doubt I'll be back soon getting my Disneyland Paris pass. But if you haven't yet been to Paris, if you was to say one thing, guys, what Paris does better than any other park, what would it be?
Oh, that's a bit of a stumper for me. Actually, do you know what? No, that's not true now. Before Shanghai, I would have said Pirates. Pirates at Paris is hands down amazing compared to some of the other iterations that are available. But Shanghai is unfortunately blowing it out the water, so sorry about that. I'm not sure now, Lou. What do you think?
Well, I've always loved Pirates at Disneyland Paris just for the fact that it's the best of those kind of pirate rides.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say that the Pirates of the Caribbean ride there, just because it's the best of the original kind of pirates.
I'm going to go with characters. I don't think any other park does characters as well as Paris. I haven't been to the Asian one, so I can't comment there. but the amount of character interactions that you can get, whether it's the character cavalcades that they do or the different character meets that you can have in the early morning magic hours as well, I just think it's outstanding.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I think that some of the non-American parks might do a little bit better overall.
Because we didn't used to meet characters. In fact, well, the first character we met were Anna and Elsa, and that was in Disneyland Paris. And I think that kind of opened us up to how good that experience can be. So that's why when we went to the American parks, we started doing more character meet and greets.
But we can't mention Paris without what Lewis mentioned right at the beginning of the show when we were talking about Paris, and that's the castle.
And the little treat beneath it.
It is just the most, for me, a castle, having been on a school trip to the Loire Valley in France as a young child, getting to see what real castles are like. They are a place that are functional. And to me, this is the most functional because you can go out onto the walkway outside and look into Fantasyland, because you can actually go inside up to the upper level and go out on the little veranda walkway. There is something in the basement, the wonderful animatronic, in my mind, the most impressive animatronic I've seen. And it just makes it feel like it is a real castle.
Yeah, and definitely a real Disney castle.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And of course, it's got a gift shop. Come on, Disney's ka-ching in it.
That's true. Can't miss those opportunities for the ka-ching.
Shall we move away from Paris?
Yeah, let's.
Okay, where should we go now? Walt Disney World or Disneyland?
Let's go Disneyland. What do you think?
Go on then.
So what should we start with?
Well, I don't know, because we've not actually done this park together, have we?
No, we haven't. So we just have our own little memories. I mean, it was probably, we've had a good trip and we've had a couple of good trips, but we've also had a bad trip there as well.
It wasn't a bad. It was just like an uneducated trip.
True.
Hey, come on. I did 3 weeks in Walt Disney World the first time there, and I did Disney so wrong. So we've all been, let's put our hands up and say that we've done Disney wrong. So
yeah,
let's start as we did with Paris. Disneyland food.
Lou, where do you want to start?
I think the best dining experience we had in Disneyland would have been the Napa Rose chef's counter. It was, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it was just a really great dining experience.
And you've actually done Victoria and Albert, so how do you think that experience compares?
Ooh, it's a very different experience because at Victoria and Albert's you're getting the same set menu as everyone else, provided you don't have any allergies. But at Napa Rose, chef actually comes over and talks to you before they start serving, and they customize the menu to you, and they do this magical trick. And there has to be some sort of witchery involved with this, where they literally, like, I think they, was it Chef Amy? I can't remember. No, I've got that wrong, I think. Came over and spoke to us anyway, and she literally spoke to me for, I think, maybe a minute, if that. And I was just like going, we're all going to get the same thing. No. Everyone on our section of 4 got something different, and somehow magically it suited that person down to a T for each and every course. It's magic, absolute magic. It's
like they scan your brain as you walk in, because I've eaten there. It was on my first trip to Disneyland, and everything I got was sublime and something that I would order and eat by the bucketful. Just amazing, right? Yeah. And to be honest, it's not a ridiculously priced option. It's about $120 roughly. And for the little tasting menu that you get at about 6-7 courses, it was like, wow. Yeah, definitely. It's just, I don't know how to describe it, except that it's just so clever as well as being tasty. No, agree. What about you, Lewis?
No. It was a sensational evening there, and it was more sociable than the chef's table, because obviously there's more than just Kat and I there, because there was other people on our section of the counter, and then the fact that we had the two people sitting next to us, the gentleman proposed to his girlfriend, just made the experience even more special.
Oh, amazing. Do you feel that the food in Disneyland is the best
Overall?
out of Walt Disney World, Paris and Disneyland? Do you think, if you're summing it up?
No. I think that Walt Disney World's got the advantage of having so many, a huge array of restaurants. So you can always find something that might suit your taste. If I was to have to decide between the three of them, I'd say hands down Walt Disney World. I think that Disneyland's got some good options, but there aren't as many options, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I do like the churros there. The churros last time, their churro work was on point. They had quite a lot of different churros around. I don't know if it was because it was food and wine or what, but there was some good churros there, and I enjoyed them a lot.
Oh, and look, if it was for me to choose something that wasn't a dining experience like the one that we had, I'd hands down go for the Dole Whip game is very strong. And there was just something about finally actually going to the Tiki Juice Bar and also to the Tropical Hideaway and enjoying some really good Dole Whip times.
And I'm now slapping myself in the face, literally, because I went in there, but every time I went, I was so full, I never got to try anything out.
No, because I've got all those delights now in the Tropical Hideaway, kind of like it's almost like that Hawaiian kind of Asian fusion kind of stuff, wasn't it, Lou? Kind of like samosa-y kind of foods. And, yeah. And so we had a couple of snacks, had some buns and what have you. It was good.
And you think that really there was nothing there before. They've made something out of nothing.
Oh, and you sat right next to the Jungle Cruise, which is kind of cool as well.
You could have just been in the tiki room.
Yeah.
If it was open, because we've been to Disneyland 3 times now and have never been into that tiki room.
They must know you're coming and think, right, Kat and Lewis are coming. What can we shut down that they've never done?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's that and...
conspiracy.
Yeah, it's that and great moments with Mr. Lincoln. Like the 2 things we have yet to do in Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We'll definitely have a go at closing that gap for you shortly.
Awesome.
Anything else food-wise you'd like to mention about Disneyland?
Don't think Disneyland, no.
No, I think I'm good with food there.
I used to love going to Paradise Gardens because they did this chicken pasta dish, and it was the most sublime pasta dish ever. It had a really nice creamy sauce, but now I'm keto. I don't eat pasta. I've not eaten pasta for a very long time. That would be a pasta dish that would tempt me back to the dark side, if anything.
Be strong, Michelle, be strong.
I know. And I know on last week's show I was talking about the Hungry Bear as a really favourite counter service, so I'm not going to mention Hungry Bear. But I don't think you can mention Disneyland without talking about their snack game, as Lewis said about the churros, the Raspberry Rose Mickey Macaron, the Matterhorn macaroon. You can add in Mickey waffles. You can add in all the wonderful ice cream, like the sensational peppermint ice cream that you can get at Christmas is worth the flight alone.
Oh, and beignets. You can get Mickey.
That is just the best Mickey beignets, yeah. But even going to the other extreme, going down to the plaza and having their chicken salad, and it has blue cheese crumbles, or you get the chicken dinner with the green beans and the mash and all of that. Oh, it's just, I love the food. I absolutely do.
I think that for a smaller size park, they do pack a really strong punch.
Yeah. And I could just say a whole list of things that I would eat there. But I think if I was thinking about a place that I have to go, it's compulsory to go and eat there every single trip, it's probably going to be Carnation Cafe because I've got to have my Mickey waffle.
Of course. Of course. I don't know the last time I had a Mickey waffle. It might have been was it on the cruise? Must have been on the cruise. It just feels so long ago.
What about the Disneyland attractions?
Oh, before we go to attractions, can I give an honourable mention to our favourite lounge?
Of course.
Trader Sam's. And I must say that as much as I love the Walt Disney World version because you've got like more people in there, it's kind of bigger, so you meet more people, which is kind of cool. The Disneyland version, you get to you sat like right in the action. You can see all of the things happening with all of the different drink interactions when people order different cocktails. It's really, really cool. And then they've got the outdoor area. So if you just want to go there and enjoy a beverage and maybe some food with friends, they've got a really big outdoor area where you can go and enjoy everything as well.
You've absolutely nailed it. It is a fantastic place. Totally agree.
But yeah. That's sorry, I interrupted your moving on to attractions.
It's fine. Come on, Lewis. Let's start with you. Attractions at the Disneyland Resort that are currently open.
Well, none then. But no.
Oh. Right, upbeat and positive people.
Sorry. Okay. Well, I think as a Marvel fan, it would probably be remiss of me to say anything other than Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. I remember the wailing and gnashing of teeth when the Tower of Terror was announced it was going to be shut down and reimagined into the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and how people were just saying, I'm going to cancel my annual pass and I'm never going again and everything like that. And then when they actually got onto this reimagined ride, they're like going, this is amazing. This is a fantastic ride. This is sensational. And it is. It's just so well themed. And it's like, it doesn't feel like, even though they did it in such a short space of time, it doesn't feel like it's just an overlay of the Tower of Terror ride. It's a completely different experience. And I've been on it a lot, and I just absolutely love this ride, and I can't wait to go on it again.
No, I'm in agreement. And to be honest, I wasn't a fan of the film until I went on the attraction. And when I was having my Rapunzel tattoo done, that is one of the films that I chose willingly, without a shotgun at my head, to watch while I was having the tattoo done, because the attractions got me interested and excited about the film.
Nice. That's really cool. I mean, for me, the film was always a bit of a go-to film. That time that we spent a night in one of those stupid capsule hotels in Tokyo, I couldn't get to sleep because there were so many people coming and going and giggling because the whole situation's pretty ridiculous. So I wasn't getting much sleep. So I chucked in my earphones and put Guardians of the Galaxy on. It's my film comfort food. That's the only way I can describe it. So for me, that attraction is pretty high on the old list as well.
No, I agree with you on that one. I would have said the same myself. Have we got a second attraction?
For me, definitely has to be the Incredicoaster. I don't know why, and Lewis is again giving me the look of, see, I told you should have gone on it, but I never went on
California Screaming.
Never went on California Screaming. I don't know why. I didn't have my Disney faith right up there enough to do like something that actually sent me upside down. But nowadays, obviously feeling a little bit more comfortable with it, and we went on it so many times. We've got like those great shared times that we went on it with Tommy and Lena, and it was just like, it's just such great fun.
No, I agree on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm a massive fan of what they did there, because I did go on the original California Screamin', and the original California Screamin' was pretty much just a wooden roller coaster, although it's a metal roller coaster, it looks wooden. But it was a good roller coaster. But yeah, definitely what they've done with putting a story into a roller coaster is pretty amazing, because generally speaking, most themed roller coasters, the theme usually stops at the name of it and the color. Like the Hulk coaster, it's green. Whereas in this case,
you do get shaken up.
You do get shaken up a bit, but it's yeah. But the way you've got a story that like runs and like when you're on the credit coaster, and he's like, you got Edna Mode there, and she's like, yes, don't worry, darlings, I'll look after the baby. The baby is gone, and so it's like, oh, this is great. And then like you go through those different stages, and then you go through the cookie num num stage, it's like.
Delicious.
It sets you up for going, oh, I need to get a cookie num num when we finish this. And the cookie num num is just such a great snack. Just if we go back, it's just like, oh, it's just gooey and ooey and just chocolatey and
vanilla-y
yeah.
and
it's really good. I mean, I'm a big fan of my cookie time cookies, but I think the cookie num num is kind of like almost on par with that, but very different cookie, very different. But yeah, I just love it. I think it's a fantastic attraction, and just one you got to go on again and again and again and again and again.
Completely concur. I'm going to throw a curveball here because this is a bit of a weird one. The Fly School.
Oh, really?
And I don't know what it is because it's not really aimed at adults. It is a bit what you class as a kiddie coaster. But if you go on it at night, I just think those sharp turns, it's just such a fun little coaster. And it is. It does get you giggling, it gets you laughing, it gets those tummy feels because you're going up and down and you literally do feel you're going to fly off the edge, especially at night time, and you get the beautiful views of the park because you are at an elevation.
That's a really, really good pick, actually. It's such a neat one.
But I always fast pass it because sometimes the line can be a bit cray-cray.
I know, which I can't quite work out because it's not like it's a new attraction. Anyway.
But maybe everyone has the same opinion as me.
Maybe.
Anything else that you'd like to include with Disneyland?
Probably honourable mention for me would be the Alice in Wonderland ride. Finally got to ride that.
Oh.
It was there this time.
Yeah.
That is a cute attraction.
It is. It's just adorable. I thought it was just something that you go on. It's kind of cute. And I prefer that to some of the other dark rides.
I think California does have a great range of dark rides and you could talk a whole show about them.
For sure.
And maybe we will do that in an upcoming show. I think there's so many attractions you can shout at me now about California that are just amazing, like the Matterhorn, completely unique. You know, you've got so many. The submarine voyage, you know, it just, I love it. I could talk all day, but let's see if we...
Kat's not a big fan of the Matterhorn, though, because you found it a bit bone-shaking.
Yeah, a bit bone-shaking. My neck didn't hold out very well with it.
Not great then for you on that one. What about experiencing Disneyland?
That's a good point. The parades are always, like, pretty good. And it was good seeing Paint the Night. But I'd have to say doing the dessert party for World of Colour.
Oh, I agree.
Just an amazing experience. It's so good. Just being able to go there and relax, and you've got a seat. And if you're lucky enough, like we were, we got paired onto a table with an amazing couple of people. There was a lady, Jennifer, and her son. And yeah, like we've got friends for the rest of our lives now. It's really cool. And just because we went to a dessert party.
No, sounds perfect to me. Spot on. I agree with that one. Any other experiences for you, Lewis?
Well, Paint the Night was good to see that there because we'd actually seen Paint the Night already in Hong Kong Disneyland twice. We'd seen it there. And it was great to see the version at Disneyland at California Adventure, and we did it wasn't really a dessert party, was it? It was a snacky kind of situation.
I don't know. There was some sort of like an antipasto thing served.
But it was good because you had good seating and you got to see everything go past, and I really enjoy. I just enjoy that parade anyway, so it was great to see it in a slightly different setting to what I was used to seeing it in.
I was struggling thinking about an experience for Disneyland because not necessarily thinking of a show because you've got quite a few to consider when you're thinking about the show. You've got Mickey and the Magical Map. I love the storytellers because I just think they always tend to put something topical and fun in it, and it was reminiscent in some ways of the Aladdin stage show, where you'd go and see it and the genie had just put a little gag in that just was sensational to the news at the time. I just think for me, just hanging out with friends and chilling, and for me, Disneyland is the I'm meeting people park. I have so many amazing friends there that I've met up in the parks, gone and had a meal with, or sat and had a chat and done attractions together. That for me, it's just that warm fuzzy feeling of just chilling with friends.
Beautiful.
Right, let's say arrivederci over to Disneyland and hop on over to Walt Disney World with some food.
Oh, where on earth do you start, Michelle? Honestly.
6 parks, hotels. We could be talking still tomorrow.
Do you know what? I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm going to go with probably my favorite experience so far, and that was doing food and wine. I think that was a tremendous experience. You got to try a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You got to try different cuisines, different styles of food, different beverages, and I really enjoyed being able to drop through and try a few different things. I thought that was pretty good.
I agree with that. Lewis?
What would my favourite be? I kind of like the High in the Sky. What was
Highway in the
Highway
Sky?
in the Sky dining, where
Yes.
where you got on the monorail and you started off at the Contemporary, and then you went around to the Polynesian, and then you went to the Grand Floridian,
yep.
and then you finished up back at the Contemporary afterwards, and you got like a different stage of your progressive meal at each of the different points. And it was a really good way of like experiencing all the different resorts that they had, and also getting those different food offerings at each one. So it was kind of like a food festival, but in a very condensed form.
That's true. And then you got an amazing view of Wishes.
I really, really wish I would have had an opportunity to do that, because I know when you guys spoke about it on the show, it sounded fantastic.
Yeah, definitely something I'd recommend doing. And the price point, like when you compare that to doing, say, Victoria and Albert's, was a lot less. And I think that we got probably, I mean, the cuisine was completely different, and in terms of dining experience, it was completely different. But I think we probably got just as much out of that evening as we got out of the V&A evening. In some ways, I think, I mean, it's apples and oranges in some ways, but I think that the experience of moving around and experiencing, like, I mean, the hospitality once you get to the Poly is just out of this world. They're just absolutely wonderful. And we had a sing-along.
And you're talking to all these, different people, because you're sitting with different people at each stage as well.
Because you're not all sat at the same table all the time.
Yeah, so you get to have a bit of socialization, find out where people are from, all that kind of thing. So, yeah.
I think I'm going to say the last time I ate at California Grill was a highlight for me. I was there with the wonderful Stephen Klimowska, and going anywhere with Stephen is an absolute experience beyond belief, because he is such a knowledgeable young man. He has got a really quirky sense of humour, and we'd gone for this meal, and there was a lady next to us, Lisa Boyce, and we just got chatting with her, and it was like she sort of moved into our dinner experience, and I loved that. And I think it just made the evening for us, and we went to go and see the fireworks, and I'd had my little kiddie steak, which was amazing, and Stephen had done this whole thing about the wine service. He wanted to have a glass of wine, and then the wine waiter came over and gave him 3 pours of different wines. He couldn't make his mind up, but by the time he'd had his 3 pours, it was a little bit tiddly, so decided not to order any wine, and it just was like
Stephen Klimowska, really? Oh no.
We could do a whole show about stories with Stephen, because he is just the most amazing, charismatic, annoying, fun-filled person you could ever meet. And he's just, I love him to bits. I think he's great, but at times he does it does infuriate me.
It's hilarious. He's so much. I've got a colleague at work now who I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I was like, it's like having an annoying little brother who you kind of like having there, but you're not really sure, and they know so much stuff. I'm like, oh, you're Stephen. You're the Australian version of Stephen. That's what it is.
Oh, bless him. Bless. So, yeah, I think California Grill, I've had some bad experiences where, let's all remember that wonderful occurrence with the couple sitting next to me feeding each other, which was just bizarre. And then another time I went and it was like kids running around the restaurant playing hide and seek.
Oh, yeah.
So many memories from there, but lovely meals I've had with you guys. I've had meals there with Tommy, and I've had meals there with Ashley and Sam and Anthony Markham. So I tend to always go there because I know I can get a really good steak and I get to see the fireworks from a different perspective.
Yeah, that's something quite good about Walt Disney World, is that you get to see the fireworks from so many different angles.
And we could talk for hours about the snack game at Walt Disney World because it is, in my opinion, amazing.
Yeah, it could take us days to get through it all.
And I think we will probably leave that for another discussion point because we could still be here for many, many years to be.
True. Sounds like a good idea.
What about an attraction? Or a few?
Oh, see, Walt Disney World has got so much variety, and like, how do you even begin to like pick a favorite out of all of that stuff? Lou, what have you got something in mind?
I'm gonna go Flight of Passage. No, I'm not. Sorry,
you mean you're not going for the Navi River run?
No.
I don't mind the Navi River run. I mean, it wouldn't be high on my list, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, I think Flight of Passage is a bit overrated. Which ride will I go for in Walt Disney World, in the whole of Walt Disney World, if I had to choose one thing there? I am going to go the Void Star Wars.
Oh, cheeky.
Because that, like, as far as immersion goes, that is like you're 100% immersed in the world of Star Wars. You're on an adventure. You're dressed up as a stormtrooper, but you're a resistance fighter, and you're fighting to steal away from Darth Vader an important artifact that's going to lead to the victory of the rebellion.
That's true. And there's so many more storylines now. Like there's an Avengers one that you can do. There's all different ones. That
Wreck-It
VR
Ralph,
stuff was out of this world. It really was. I
know it costs more money, but it is so worth doing it. It's like it's such a amazing experience. Like it was good the first time I did it. It was 100% better the second time I did it when Kat was in the team that I was playing with. So yeah, it's great, but if you can do it with people that you're friends with and stuff, it's a much, much better experience.
Do you think they'd ever bring out a Snow White version and I could just hang out with the 7 dwarfs and make apple pie and have all the animals come and do my cleaning?
Oh, that'd be cute.
Maybe. We could always hope.
Kat?
Oh, it's like trying to ask me who my favourite child is. There's just like, I could name so many things. I don't know, Michelle. There's just so much good stuff.
Right, let's just cut it down to, if you were there now, okay, what would you like to go on?
Let me get Test Track.
No.
Okay.
Like I like Test Track, but I always think that it's a little bit like every time we go on it, it's a bit of a melodrama trying to get onto it.
Okay. Expedition Everest.
Yeah, that was the one that first came to mind, I must admit. Maybe we'll just go with that. Because, like, you got to admit, like, even the ride queue's kind of cool with that interactive stuff that it does with putting names up on screens. You're like, Lewis, there's your name. You're advertising tea. Do you think?
Yeah.
And then the attraction itself is quite good. You get to go up that massive incline and have such a amazing view of all of the space that you can see around you. It's something quite unique as well. Like, you don't get it in any other park. And it's just really good, thrilling kind of material.
Yeah, no, it's a great ride.
I'm going to go left field on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go over to Blizzard Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Because this summer I decided to, after always going to Typhoon Lagoon, I thought I'd go to Blizzard Beach. Yes, this summer I did actually go to Typhoon Lagoon, but Tom and I thought we'd go to Blizzard Beach on our own for a couple of hours one morning, and I went on, and I can't believe it now because I am such a wuss with heights. Really, I get panic attacks. I went on Summit Plummet.
No, you did not. That's brilliant.
I went on Summit Plummet, and for people who aren't aware of this, it's about 12 stories vertically, straight down. You go through a dark tunnel. It's 360 feet long. It's high speed. I think I topped over 60 mile an hour.
Wow.
And as you're climbing the stairs up to it, you suddenly start thinking, what the earth am I doing now? I want to get down, but there's a 6-year-old to the side of me, and I'll look a bit of a wuss if I change my mind and I don't do this. And we'd spent the morning going on some of the other attractions there. I thought, no, I'm going to do it. Tom didn't do it. I'll just say that now. He was so scared. He was down at the bottom with his phone, ready to take pictures. But there is a photographer from PhotoPass there as well. And I climbed higher and higher. And I was like, oh, my God, I can feel my breakfast coming back, wanting to say hello. Because I was getting virtually a nosebleed because it was that high up.
Jeepers.
And then I get to the top and you have to sit down with your legs crossed and your arms folded. And I'm thinking, you fold your arms across your chest. And I'm thinking, I want to get off. I don't want to do this. I'm going to die. I'm not doing it. What if I'm that one person who flies off the slope and sort of goes splat on the concrete to the side? It's never happened, but it could happen, and it'll be me because I don't have good luck. And I was going completely paranoid. Every idea of dying came to my mind when I was sat at the top of that.
Got to have that Disney trust.
And I let go and I went, and apart from having my swimsuit virtually enter my body at one point,
oh no,
I stayed pretty much intact. There's a photo of me on my PhotoPass where I just look like, oh my word, I think my face just sort of smushed into my ears at one point because it was that fast. But to go and do that, it made me feel alive, and it was fun, and it was nice to get that fear feeling in the pit of your stomach and doing something that challenged me, because I'd never actually done something as scary as that in my whole life, because heights, me, don't go.
No, but you did it, and I think that's really cool.
And what better way to finish off at Blizzard Beach is to go into their most amazing wave pool, because you get yourself on a little rubber ring and you get the other half to steady it for you, and you can just enjoy the swell much better than a lazy river any day. I loved that.
Yeah, I must admit, I was quite a big fan of doing that one as opposed to Typhoon Lagoon with the wave. I found that a little bit, you had to be conscious of where the wave was at all the times, whereas that constant just like bobbing about, I really quite enjoyed that.
Yeah. Any experiences from Walt Disney World you'd like to share?
Okay, so I've actually thought about this one, and you'd be very proud of me. There's probably one main experience that I thought was money well worth paying for, and that was the Savannah tour that we did, the evening Savannah tour. That was just such a nice way to enjoy what can be, it's usually quite a nice experience doing the Savannah, but doing it at a private rate, not at a private rate, it's at a slower rate than you would normally as a normal punter, but also stopping off and being able to go out to that, what do you call it, like a pontoon viewing platform that's out in the middle of that broad veld kind of area. That was just amazing, just hanging out there, and you could walk back to where the rhinos were hanging out and maybe hear the lions giving a bit of a roar, and as the evening kind of progressed on, and we had some snacks and some beverages, had some amazing people in our group, and just really enjoyed the whole thing, and got to speak to a couple of the vet staff as well. Highly, highly recommend that tour if you've got a bit of extra cash to throw down.
No,
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. What about you, Lewis?
Experience-wise, I would say probably the dessert party for Star Wars, but it was more for the actual good seating for seeing the fireworks and everything. It was really good. Although the stormtroopers did make it a very enjoyable experience.
Oh, didn't they?
Yeah.
They held this poor woman up. She went up to go get a drink, and they held her there. They would not let her move for, I think, probably about 5 minutes. Yeah. And we all cottoned on to what was happening before she kind of cottoned on to what was happening. And so her partner was sat at the table to my right, Lewis's left, and then we had another couple sat at our table. And oh my goodness, it was hilarious. She didn't know what to do. They were having the time of their lives just detaining this person for no apparent reason. And it was just really good value. And then the people on our table were selected to lead the parade as we marched through to our viewing area, which is kind of cool.
The list could go on, couldn't it, of all the amazing memories, like hanging out with you guys in Italy, and we had that lovely sort of Italian board of meats and cheeses, and you guys delved into a different array of wine, and first time stepping into Disneyland, and that was amazing. And you've mentioned about the animal experiences, getting up close and personal with the elephants, and doing the safari where you go out to the boma and you have a meal there and you can see the animals, and there's just so many different experiences. But I suppose I really should include the most awesome one is getting married in Walt Disney World.
Oh my goodness, of course, yeah.
You know, I keep forgetting that part, that I was proposed to in both Walt Disney World and Disneyland, and we managed to do a Disney wedding, have a fantastic reception with some very dear friends. We had such a lovely evening with some friends who joined us, and Tommy and Lena and I, and Tom went over to Beaches and Cream, and to get married in our happy place really truly was a sensational experience. And, you know, it was just a cherry on the sundae, really.
Yeah. No, it was a beautiful experience. We really wish we could have been there for that one. It was just something really extraordinary that you guys got to do, and yeah, just I couldn't think of a better way to have done it because you didn't go over the top.
It was simple.
Yeah.
Perfect for us. No fuss. We didn't want fuss. So, yeah.
That was
right,
great.
Guys, I think we have exhausted ourselves. This has been fantastic, recalling all these memories. Give yourselves a bit of a shout out where people can get in touch with you guys.
You can find us via the gentlemanofpopculture.com. That's got links to our social media and whatnot. But as far as Diz Down Under goes, you can find us anywhere and everywhere as Diz Down Under.
Wonderful. Make sure you're listening to Kat and Lewis's show, Diz Down Under, because we're going to be doing a very similar thing with the cruise line, I believe.
Yeah, looking forward to doing that one. It's going to be good.
So until next week, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from us.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast Network.